It's a better movie guy TV review. It's a TV review. The better movie guy. Brought to you by the better movie guy. I'm the better movie guy, and today I'm talking about The Strain. The Strain is a 2014 TV series on the FX network. Now, what is The Strain about, and why should you watch it? Okay, number one, I got a name for you. That name is Guillermo del Toro. If you don't know who Guillermo del Toro is, I understand that, but if you do, I should have sold you right then and there. There's not much more I need to say, but if you don't, let me explain. Guillermo del Toro is a master storyteller. Any medium he touches, he makes into awesomeness. Whether it be comic books, whether it be stories that he writes, whether it be film that he directs. The man knows how to tell an amazing story. He's done movies like Pan's Labyrinth and Hellboy, and he wrote a book with a friend called The Strain. Actually, he wrote 3 of them. And The Strain, what this is all about is, it's what would happen if nowadays there was kind of a vampire epidemic, but it was handled in one city to start. It was, you had powers that be that were bad people trying to suppress knowledge of it. Meanwhile, you have the CDC, which are the people who, the Centers for Disease Control and all that kind of stuff, who are like looking at this at first as this is just another biological thing, and they're trying to understand, and then all of a sudden bodies start rising from the dead and killing people. And then all of a sudden they're like, holy crap, this is vampires. But it's vampires, and they're looking at it from a scientific perspective. And there's the whole bad guys who are trying to spread the vampires, and there's the good guys who are like, we gotta stop this. And Guillermo del Toro made this. He wrote it into a book, and then he made it into a series. This is awesome. I watched the first 2 episodes of this and realized I should stop watching it. Why? Because if I watched it without my wife, she would have killed me. Now, at first she was like, oh, okay, I'll watch it. And then after 4 episodes, she's like, yeah, you're right, I would have killed you. Yeah. In your sleep. With a pillow. Yeah. Okay, let's look at the cast. This has Corey Stoll, who you may have seen in House of Cards and a bunch of other stuff. Maya Maestro, who I've never seen before, but is a very good actress. Kevin Durand, who is a chameleon. That guy seems like a jerk, seems like an awesome guy. Here he's playing kind of a Ukrainian guy who's a pest control guy who figures out vampires pretty quick and is like, I know what to do with these. Richard Samuel, which you probably are like, where have you seen this guy before? He was the Nazi in Inglourious Bastards who wouldn't point out on the map and got hit with the Bear Jews baseball bat. Inglourious Bastards. And this is the one redeeming role I've ever seen David Bradley in. Okay, David Bradley, you're like, who's David Bradley? David Bradley is the groundskeeper in Harry Potter, so you hate him. He's the guy who was in charge of the Red Wedding in Game of Thrones, so you hate him. And this is the one role where he's actually a really good guy. Sure, he's a curmudgeon, but he's a good guy, and you're like, I like this guy. And then I realized who he was, and I'm like, oh, now I'm conflicted. But no, this is the one role I'm like, he's a good guy for once. Usually he's a complete yeah, exactly. All these actors do a fantastic job. The story starts basically with a plane coming into New York, and once it gets on the tarmac, it goes dark. Like literally dark. The plane shuts off. They can't get any radio response. And when they finally get in, with the CDC gets in there, everyone looks like they're dead. They can't figure out what's going on. Of course, like they take all the dead bodies away, and 4 people survive, and they're trying to figure out that. And of course, the powers that are evil are manipulating everything. There's this guy called the Master who was on the plane, and he's going to spread vampirism all around the world, but starting in New York. I don't know why New York in particular, but I think that's, well, I do know why, because I watched the show, but you can find out. Watch the show. And yeah, so it's all about how the good guys and the bad guys are trying to fight each other and vampires. This is an incredibly good, smart, inventive take on vampires. Vampires have been done to death. They're sparkly, and they're stupid, and they're sparkly. Oh, sparkly vampires. Whoever let that happen? Bram Stoker should come back and kill them. This is a smart take on vampires. It's a little bit different, and it's done by Guillermo del Toro, who was in charge of Blade 2. If you've seen Blade 2, you know it's the best of the Blade series, and it's awesome. And vampires, again. It looks great, it's filmed really well, the acting is incredibly solid, and bonus, if you live in Toronto, which I happen to live in, well, I live just outside of Toronto, but I'm close enough. This was filmed in Toronto, most of it. There's a place called Massey Hall in Toronto, which I've been to about 50 times, which is a big concert hall. They use that, like, exclusively for tons of stuff, and I'm just like, this is Toronto! I was all happy. I knew it immediately. I was like, they're walking around Toronto. And I'm like, no, that's Toronto. That is Toronto. I just like Toronto. You should visit Toronto. We have vampires. Anyway, great cast, great story. Guillermo del Toro. I highly recommend this. It's only in the first season. I think it has 2 more seasons to go. There's 13 episodes roughly per season. As a TV show, I give this 4.5 beards out of 5. It's really engaging. It's really smart. It is kind of gross in parts because there's these wormy things that make you into a vampire, and yeah, once you got them, you're screwed. Not for the faint of heart, but if you've handled horror movies, you can handle this. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay bearded, everyone. You haven't watched the Beard More Guy talking about The Strain. Oh yeah, it's an awesome TV show. It's an amazing TV show. You should watch this TV show. Subscribe and tell your friends about this TV show. And as always, you live safely. Oh, I got a brain freeze. Brain freeze. Drinking too much of this, I got a brain freeze.